All right. I'm on my return trip to Bryce's Secret Lake. This is the end of the 2-track. And for those of you who figure out where this is, all right, you'll see this obvious trail that goes up that starts climbing a hill there, a very beaten footpath. That is not the right trail. So what you want to do is you kind of want to go this way through these trees here and cross the creek and you'll pick up the correct trail on the other side. This trail here will take you west of the lake, and you'll have to cross all that downfall and boulder filled mess like I did. So don't take that. Don't take the right trail. Go left through the apex in the trees here until you find the creek, cross it, search for the path. It should be pretty obvious, and you're good. So after crossing the creek, you come up on a very steep climb, short steep climb, and I mean it's steep. But there is a trail, an unmaintained trail. You come up this, difficult to see the angle there, and then you don't want to go all the way to the top. Now it turns out, yep, it's an unmaintained trail, but this is blazed. So you hang a right here, and the footpath is blazed in most spots. So, all right. So after the initial climb and the right turn, you'll enter a meadow, a big kind of a, I don't know, medium-sized meadow. The trail for the first part skirts. It basically skirts the side of a shallow boulder field, ridge, shoulder, whatever. And then the last part kind of veers off. I guess you can shortcut it or you can continue following it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I think I came down this way, but I think the blazes are showing this way, so I don't know. Anyway, they all meet back up together here in about 100 yards or so. The good news is, sorry about all the haze. The lake's right up there, about I don't know, quarter of a mile, maybe a little more. The bad news is you got another climb ahead of you to get up there. It's a little longer than the first climb. It's steep, but not as quite as steep as the first pull that you come up from the creek crossing. So more to come. Here we are, the return trip. I do see a few fish rising, but I don't know, looks like they're probably sipping midges or something. Okay, it is Sunday, September 12th, 2021. I am in a lobe of the Beaverhead Range. I am at Bryce's Secret Lake. That's the code name for the lake. I was in here a week ago yesterday, and I took the wrong trail. And there is no, first of all, there's no maintained trail in here. So there's two primitive trails. One is the right one is the wrong one, and the one that looks like it's the right one is the wrong one. And it put me to the west of the lake, basically over that boulder ridge there, and it's a long one with a steeper side on the other side. And so I came in over that, and it took me, you know, the lake's supposed to be like 0.6 miles, 0.65 miles of a hike was the ride up, but it took me 3 hours to get in, and almost 3 hours to get in, and I walked something like a little over 2 miles, and scrambling over those boulders just killed me. The right trail I took out last week, and I laid a partial track. Today I followed it in the correct trail, and it took me, It took me 50 minutes total, but some of that was I didn't park. I parked probably about almost half a mile before the end of the 2-track because I brought my car in here. My Jeep is in the shop and getting repairs, but so I brought my car in here, which I don't know if I'd do it again. There's a good trunk road. There's a good set of trunk roads that come in here, but they're 30 miles from, you're 30 miles of driving a dirt and gravel roads from the highway. They're good roads, but they are gravel, and I'd really feel better. They're not, you don't really need high clearance or anything, but I'd feel a lot better if I had all terrains or a tougher all season on. So I just slowed it down in the bad spots and made it partway up the 2-track. I laid down another track from the end of the 2-track up the correct path, and it's 0.8 miles. So the FWP write-up says 0.65. My DeLorme Earthmate says 0.8. The trail, the lower part of the trail, again, it's not maintained, but it is blazed, particularly the lower end of it. As you climb towards the lake and get closer to the lake, the blazes, some of them are still there, but others, they get few and far in between. And the trail, the path, kind of essentially, it kind of ends probably about 50 to 100 yards before the lake. And you kind of got to find your way around, but you're close enough to where you can find a way around. But for those of you that figure out where this is and decide to come up here, I'm going to warn you, on that footpath, assuming you find the right one, stick to it, keep it slow so you can, because it fades in spots. And so you look for the blazes and stuff. Be very careful about veering off of it, because I can tell you each side of this place, I mean, you can see this lake, it sits in a narrow bowl. So it's steep on each side of it. And so if you veer off that path, either way, you're going to run into boulder fields, deadfall, and it's going to be tough, if not downright dangerous. So, anyway, yeah, I know I'm talking a lot. So it's a little bit before 10. I'm going to throw on my waders. I'll start off with an ant. There are fish in the lake. I do know that. I saw some last week. I didn't catch any, but I only fished for 35 minutes. The one thing that does concern me here is that, in 35 minutes last week, I didn't even have a bite, and I saw, I only saw an occasional fish rising. So I may need to try some additional techniques today, but I've got time, so I've got about 4.5 to 5 hours before I have to get out of here. So, all right, more to come. So it's just before 10:30, and I'm rigged up with a floating fly line and a black foam mat, and right now I haven't casted yet. I'm kind of doing a little bit of scouting. I'm not sure. There may have been a rise right over here just like a minute ago. It sure looked like it. So this lake, I think its max depth is like 24 feet, and much of the lake is greater than 8 feet. What there is here on the north end is there's a shelf, it's kind of a shallow shelf, but it's it looks like it's 3 to 4 feet deep in places. So it's a good shelf, and it's deep enough to where you would think fish would come in here, and it's shallow enough to where where you would think it would warm up in here. This would be one of the first places to warm up, and in late spring or fall like now, you would think you'd see fish in here. But I did see last week, just before I left, I saw some fish. I saw a fish or two in here cruising and rising. So, but yeah, it's a broad shelf out here, and a lot of times what I did last weekend is I got out there towards the edge of the shelf and I fished the drop-offs. The mud and rocky bottom in here in this area suggests that this lake probably has a lot of chironomids in it. So I'm going to fish with the ant for a little bit. But if I don't have any luck with the ant, what I'm going to do is I'll probably hang a couple of chironomids underneath the strike indicator and see what happens fishing the drop-offs. Yeah, I'm not seeing any fish cruising, which that's kind of perplexing. You know, we're in fall right now. Maybe it's not perplexing, I don't know. You get into fall like this, and sometimes in these lakes when it's cold and the water temperatures are dropping, what happens is it takes time. It takes time before these fish get active. Sometimes it's 11:30 before they start getting active. So anyway, I thought I might spot a fish in here and make a cast, but not so far. All right, first cast. Here we go. I don't even see the fly. What's going on? There we go. All right, there we go. So we'll see what happens here. One other thing is, some people wonder, where do you start fishing a lake? And there's different schools of thought. If you're a cover guy that, and you believe that trout like cover, which they do, you would start with the shady side of the lake first. That is one thing you can do. On these lakes, these high elevation lakes, I generally, all other things being equal, I generally like to do opposite of that. I like to fish the sunny side of the lake. And there's a fish that rose way down there at the other end. I generally like to fish the sunny side of the lake first. And my belief is, and there's a fish that rose over by those rocks, which is where I saw that big cut last weekend. Because I believe that, fishing up in these high elevation lakes, because of the water temperature, that what happens is the sunny side warms up first. That's my belief. There's probably some truth to it, but whether they prefer that over cover, I don't know. Inlets and outlets are good too. Good areas too. Drop-offs are good. I love fishing drop-offs. And then shoals I really like. And then the other thing is the windward. The other place that's really good is the windward side of a lake, because it'll blow the wind blows, the breeze will blow the food and concentrate it in one location. The fish know that. Okay, so it's around 11:30ish or so. There's absolutely no rises on the lake. Any little bit of surface activity that there was has stopped. So that means the fish are deep. Don't know why. Generally, that's not a good sign. It could be that something's put them down. Some lakes are just like that, though. Especially, and especially fish that are in big fish or lakes that have bigger fish. So what I've done is I've switched over to a pair of chironomids underneath the strike indicator. So, and I've worked my way a little bit down the shoreline here, and I'm gonna fish out here a little bit just to see if I can interest any fish. Oh, there's one that rose. That's the first one I've seen rise in, I don't know, over 30 minutes. So the first thing you got to do when you do this, I got a pair of chironomids. I got the top fly. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's what's called a chromie. It's one of Phil Rowley's patterns. And on the point fly, I've got a black and red chironomid in ice cream cone style. So the first thing you got to do is you got to set the depth, and you generally want the bottom fly to be about 1 to 2 feet off the bottom. So one of the things you can do is I just took my forceps there, clamped it to the fly, and what I'll do is I'll throw it out there, and then you wait to see what it does with the strike indicator. And you see it, it pulls it down, and I'm going to do it again though too, because I'd like to get, that's not good. That's not good. That is not good at all. Okay, so what happened is I wanted to cast out, but I've got a tangle at my rod tip there, and I almost lost them. The trick with this whole thing is your forceps can get what's the word? They can get hung up in these rocks, and that kind of happened, and I was able to get them free. So we'll try this again. There you go. Let's see what we got here. I can't really see. So it looks like I'm probably a couple feet off the bottom. So I'll go ahead and bring them in. So it looks like I'm all right. I'm okay the way I'm set right now. All right. So we'll see. Hopefully this can interest something. We'll see. So all I'm doing there is, you want it to move just a little bit. And so you want to you can throw a little mint. You need to throw a little mend in, like I just did. And if a fish takes it, generally you'll know that it'll pull the strike indicator. Sometimes fish that are taking it very lightly, you'll just kind of see it move a little bit. But all right, so I'm going to recast this thing here a little bit further. There you go. And you generally don't have to cast very far. This is not, you're kind of fishing deep, so it's not too long to, unless you got a shelf way out in front of you and a drop off and you're trying to get beyond that. But so that's basically the technique. I use this a lot in generally lower elevation lakes. In the high country, I generally don't need to, unless I get into a situation like I am here, which... All right. Well, so here just a minute ago, I I was fishing, you know, letting the strike indicator move, and you know, it was kind of, and I needed to mend because the wind was putting a bow in it, and I threw a mend in, and the strike indicator dipped under. After I threw the mend in, a lot of times when you mend, you'll move the strike indicator a little bit, which moves the flies. The strike indicator dipped under, and I realized I had a fish, and I missed him. So I cast back out and repeated the exact same thing, and here's a fish. And this appears to be a rainbow, and he's a very pretty rainbow. So this is interesting. I haven't had to do this kind of fishing in a long time in a high mountain lake. So, all right. So what we'll do here, this is a nice fish. So, you know, it's been certainly a slow start. This is a nice rainbow. This is a very nice rainbow. He's fat. And there he goes. If I can, nope. Well, oh well. My very next cast, I got another one. It's interesting. Won't hit dries, but they'll hit, and I'm fishing probably about 10 feet down. This is another rainbow. They're hitting the bottom fly, which is interesting. Both of them have. Now, hopefully I can get this guy in. He's nice, another nice chunky fish here. Come on, bud. All right. There you go. That's a nice little rainbow. He's 12 inches. He's slightly smaller than the other guy. Still nice. Back you go. All right, I'm going to kind of demonstrate what I'm doing here. So the wind's kind of coming at me. It's changing directions all over the place. So let me make sure that my strike indicator's still in the same place. Okay, that's good. That's not good. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to recast. I got a little bit of weed on my bottom fly though. Just from dragging it up here. All right, so the wind's kind of coming at me, so I'm just roll casting out like that. Okay. And then you let it sit. Let it sit for a little bit. Now what's going to happen, a little bit of a breeze eventually is going to put kind of a bow into the line, which you don't want. And that's where you have to mend. You really, generally you don't want the breeze to drag the fly. So it's doing that now. So it's starting to bow the line, and you don't want that to happen. Otherwise, the flies move too fast, and it's unnatural to the fish. Now this isn't the best setup the way I casted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a mend in, and what that does, a lot of times it'll move the strike indicator. That was a pretty good one. And sometimes when that happens, the fish will see that, they'll see the flies jump like that, and they'll hit it right after that. So you got it, and that's actually what's happened to me the last on both of these fish. Is I throw a mend in, and the strike indicator moves a little bit, and the fish grab it. So the biggest issue with this type of fishing is just the patience part. So basically what you want to do is you want to mend often. Like right now, I can throw another mend in. Uh-oh. Yeah. And I probably should have greased my leader, so so the other thing in here, you know, I missed a fish and then I caught two, so you know, I probably need to move. Got another one. All right. The game's afoot. Another rainbow. Now this one took the upper fly. He took the chromie, it looks like. I think. Yeah, he did. And boy, he's in the process of making a mess of my leader. Which we don't want him to do. Ugh. All right, so that's good. Another pretty rainbow. All right. So this guy is similar to my first fish. About 13 inches. There you go. All right, back you go. All right, it's a little after 1 on Sunday, September 12th. Been fishing for 2.5 hours. I've caught and released 3 rainbows and lost another one. So it's weird. Not a lot of surface activity in here. It's spotty. You won't see rises for an hour, and then you'll see several of them in a few minutes, and then it stops. I have seen some winged brown ants on the water, just a few, but probably not enough. I don't know that it's enough to trigger any selective feeding. I had my ant on, and of course they didn't want nothing to do with that. So I switched over to a bung leader and two chironomids under a strike indicator, fishing down about 10 feet, and I've caught and released 3 rainbows and lost one other in about 2.5 hours. It's been all right. Biggest issue now is I'm counting time. I want to pack up and get out of here. I want to be heading down the trail no later than 3, so I don't have a lot of time left. I have about an hour of fishing left. Really, this lake, the other thing I'll tell you about this lake, very hard to get around this lake. steep shorelines, boulder fields on both sides. Down about halfway, I made it about halfway, and there's a bunch of down timber that you just can't get past. Because of the shortness of the hike, though, I think this would be an excellent place to bring a float tube. I should have done it this time, thought about it and didn't. But I think float tubing this lake is really the way to go, and it's such a short. It's steep. It's a steep hike in, but it's short. So anyway, so I haven't gotten skunked, so that's the good news. Slow start, but it's fished okay. Real nice rainbows, all between 12 and 13 inches. So well, all right. It's after lunch. I got another fish, and wow. So there's a big log in front of me with a bunch of branches, and that fish headed right for it like 3 times, and I had to horse him. And I was fortunate. It's a nice rainbow, another nice rainbow. I missed one. I pulled it right out of one's mouth here a little bit ago. So, oh boy. Look at this fish. He's pretty. He's pretty. Oh, you don't. Yeah, I know. Here you go. How about that? How about that guy? All right. All right. So I got another one here. Again, another rainbow, headed right for that. They head right for that freaking tree. That submerged tree. It's whoa. And you just gotta horse him. You gotta horse him over the tree, otherwise you will lose everything. Oh, okay. Let me show him to you. Here you go. So this is my 5th one. Sorry, bud. Hang on. If you just hang on, I'll get... There you go. All right. So I think I'm running out of battery here. I was hoping to kind of show you how this works, but like I said, I think I'm running out of battery. So I've just been kind of fishing here. I've had one strike that I missed, and then I caught those 2. Wind's kind of coming from the north now, but it's changing all the time. So what I'm going to do here is I've let it sit for a minute. I'm going to throw a mend into it, and what'll happen is it'll move the indicator a little bit. That's not the purpose of throwing the mend. The purpose is so that it doesn't drag the indicator and the flies. So I'm going to throw a mend in, just like that. And a lot of times, if there's any fish in the area, they'll see the flies jump and they'll come on over. Didn't happen there. All right, there we go. So one of the things that's going on is I need to crease the end of my line and my leader. All right, got another one. This one feels like a big fish. You know, all I've caught are rainbows today. I know that there are cuts in here. I've seen at least one. Boy, this is a big fish. Holy cow. This is a cut. Easy does it. Okay, okay. Oh, I'm not on the reel, and that is not good. He's trying to get me around something, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. Oh, there he goes. Whoa! Oh my goodness. This is a strong fish. Oh, this is a big cut. Wow. Please tell me I got this thing recording. Because I'm running out of battery and he's going for the tree. No, no, sir. This is a big cut. This is a big old cut. Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. I hope I can get him. I really need to take, oh man. Wow. He is not tired yet. This is a big old fish. So this fish is probably, I don't know, he's big. Now remember, holy cow, this is big. Oh, baby, easy does it. Okay, he needs to tire because this is a holy Toledo. This is where you got to be careful. This is a big male. This is where I really got to be. Holy cow, that's a big fish. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at him. All right, that is a big old male cut. Beautiful fish. All right, back you go, bud. Okay, it's 2:40 p.m. Sunday, September 12th, 2021, I guess. This is my departing shot. Bryce's Secret Lake. Clouds have rolled in. Didn't say anything about precipitation today. I'm kind of cutting out of here early because I got a long drive home and 30 miles of it's up a gravel road with my car. I did all right here once I switched to subsurface. You know, I was fishing with a strike indicator and 2 chironomids, and I was down about 10 feet. I caught 5 rainbows and a great big old cut. So there are nice fish in this lake. I really should bring a float tube in here. So that's it. So far the return trip was a success.